This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For connectors, cables, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by ICOM. Heard it, worked it, logged it. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information about ICOM radios.
It's Ham Radio.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's time for Ham Talk Live, episode number 322, Huntsville Hamfest 2023, recorded live on Thursday, August 3rd, 2023. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live. Today, we're joined by Mark Brown in for BCD from the Huntsville Hamfest. Last time here on the show, Junie N1DUC was here to talk about her duck mochi being at Hamvention and her YouTube channel, Ham and Quackers. So if you missed that show, you can listen anytime at hamtalklive.com or on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. Well, Huntsville's coming up. I'm getting ready for all the stuff I've got to do down there, but Mark Brown in 4BCD has been working at this for a very long time, and we're going to talk with him about the Huntsville Hamfest right after this word from ICOM America right here on Ham Talk Live. From base stations to more portable models, ICOM has the best radio for working your favorite bands this summer. Whether outside enjoying sunny skies or inside by the AC, stay cool with ICOM. It's time for the world's friendliest Hamfest. The Huntsville Hamfest will be held on Saturday and Sunday, August 19th and 20th in Von Braun Center's South Hall in Huntsville, Alabama. ICOM will be there, so go find them and see their newest amateur innovations. And this year, Huntsville Hamfest is giving away an IC 705 to one lucky attendee. Hope to see you there. The IC 905 lets you explore the world of microwave. ICOM's new SHF portable, the IC 905, covers 2 meters, 70 centimeters, 1.2 gigahertz, 2.4 gigahertz, and 5.6 gigahertz bands, and 10 gigahertz with the optional transverter. There's some industry firsts under its belt as well. It's the first to support the 5 major VHF to SHF bands, the first PoE-powered RF module designed to be at the base of the antenna to eliminate signal loss and be compatible with amateur TV and analog FM mode. It has the large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time high-speed spectrum scope and waterfall display, easy digital mode settings, the GPS, full D-Star functions, and an SD card slot. The IC 7300 is a high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design that will far exceed your expectations. It digitizes RF before various receiver stages, reducing the generated inherent noise in different IF stages. It's the radio that changed entry-level HF. It has RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, the large color touchscreen, spectrum scope, and an SD card slot. The real HF fun starts here. Create your own band opening with the IC 9700. This transceiver brings direct sampling to the UHF and VHF weak signal world. It's loaded with innovative features that are sure to keep you busy, like smooth satellite operation with 99 satellite channels, dual watch operation, and full duplex operation in satellite mode. Expect top performance on field day with ICOM's IC 9700. The IC 7610 is the SDR SDR every ham wants. This high-performance SDR can pick out faint signals in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The ICOM IC7610 is a direct sampling software-defined radio that's changed the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. ICOM, for the love of ham radio. For more information about ICOM's amateur offerings, visit icomamerica.com/amateur.
At Ham Talk Live, we use commercial breaks to debate where the seeds for seedless watermelons come from. Now, here's Neil Rapp with more Ham Talk Live.
Welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Today, Mark Brown in for BCD joins us on the Orlando Amateur Radio Club and Hamcation Zoom line. And Mark has been the chairman of the Huntsville Hamfest for several years now, and is an accomplished contester, among other things, and recently retired. So he has even more time now that he can put into the Huntsville Hamfest, as if he wasn't putting up enough numbers already. So, Mark, thank you for joining us on the show here, just a couple of weeks away, and we're getting excited.
We are too. Thanks, Neil, for having me on the show tonight.
So, in fact, I got my my little postcard. Well, actually, it wasn't a little postcard; it was a big postcard in the mail here a day or two ago for the club, and advertising the world's friendliest Hamfest, and that's indeed what it is. So, tell everybody about Huntsville for this year.
Well, I'm glad to hear you received the card. The out-of-state ones went first. The in-state Alabama ones should arrive in the next couple of days. But glad to hear those are going out. The Huntsville Hamfest is in our 70th year. Back in 1980 or 81, the Hamfest, or prior to 80 or 81. The Hamfest bounced between three North Alabama cities, and it was known as the North Alabama Hamfest. And when the Von Braun Center was built, the downtown civic center in Huntsville, Alabama, it was in the Hamfest was there, and it was such a resounding success that Huntsville bought out the other two cities, and it became thereafter known as the Huntsville Hamfest. And so we were literally an inaugural tenant with the VBC. We go back as far as they do. And so it's a great relationship. When we needed to expand a couple of years ago for COVID, we took the entire South Hall, 120,000 square feet of indoor air-conditioned space. And it was so well received by the visitors, vendors. Everybody liked the wide aisles. We decided to find a way to keep it, and we are again this year. So we managed to squeeze another block of flea market tables, and we still have a waiting list. We've sold out the entire flea market. I think we're up to 420, 430 flea market tables. And so it's going to be a sea of new and used equipment, over 50 commercial vendors, a lot of clubs, POTA on through the Georgia QSO party, Parks on the Air. They're doing a thing this year, kind of like Ohio does, state parks on the air. So lots of clubs, lots of organizations, lots of forums. We have some great forums. I would compare our forums to the quality of what Dayton and Orlando have. We have such a pool of talent here in Huntsville, from doctors and professionals in the defense and space industry. So we just have a great lineup, and we've published the schedule for the and description for the forums. We're going to do another update this weekend, just to correct and refine some of the points in there and modify the schedule somewhat. The league confirmed to us that they're going to be doing an ARRL member forum. I think that'll be at noon on Saturday. So that kind of completes the roster, and we'll get that schedule out there, including the online program. It's been very popular. We didn't have too many people taking the printed version, but through a 2D barcode, you can basically download all the event details It's about a 13-page document, and you can download it to your smartphone and have at your fingertips then the schedules, the prize drawing times, when Bill Brown will be launching his balloon, his Pico balloon. So all that stuff at your fingertips through the online program, and that'll be out probably this weekend. The DX Banquet is in a new venue this year. There's a museum that's not quite open yet called the Museum of Information Explosion. One of the defense contractor founders here in Huntsville has spent literally a lifetime acquiring old radios, everything from Spark and early regenerative out through the All-American 5 plastic radios of the 70s and 80s. So it's a huge collection of all the radios of the different eras, including the big old living room consuming monsters with the dynamic speakers. Everything is represented there. This museum, I go into detail about it because, like I say, it's not open yet, but it will be the venue for the North Alabama DX Club's DX Banquet. And so seating is limited, but it's going to be just a great evening for folks to gather and just be surrounded by this stuff. The Huntsville clubs have been meeting there for about the past year, and each week we see progress, more radios. They have an oak telephone booth. I don't know where the guy acquired it, but it's a full-size, 4-sided oak telephone booth. It's a sight to see. So Ken Clairbout, he's the 2023 CQ Contest Hall of Fame inductee. He will be the featured speaker that night at the DX Banquet. And tickets there are available at the North Alabama DX Club, NADXC.org website. Lots of other stuff going on, of course, card checking. We've got a hospitality suite over at the embassy on Friday and Saturday night. Anybody's welcome to drop by from 5:30 to 10:30. It's after the show, of course. So there's a place to go after dinner. You can go and mingle. You never know who's going to show up. Dayton and Orlando guys will be there. Myself, probably. You never, like I say, it's an eclectic crowd. People come and go. So it's a nice place to stop and visit. I did a count last night. We have 19 YouTubers scheduled to cover the show, and that list seems to grow just about every other day. We get another person coming in and wants to do some video at the show, and we're welcome that coverage. They're a great resource and a great group of guys. They many of them camp out at Montesano State Park because Montesano State Park is a POTA and a SOTA site. And so these guys go up there, and when they're not playing radio, they're having fun with each other, and just I guess it's a great experience. What else? Oh, we've got a couple of new vendors this year. Prepcom builds a small portable radio. They're also sending us a pretty significant door prize, one of their big radios. That'll probably be on Saturday drawing. And another one is 405 Laserworks. A couple of years ago, Kelly Laserworks they've been a fixture at Huntsville and other shows, but due to health issues, they're not doing shows anymore. And so we looked for a replacement. We engaged them at Dayton, and they've agreed to come down. So we'll have they do the lighted acrylic signs with your call signs or whatever you'd like to have on them. Yeah. So we're excited to have a couple of new vendors, but over 50 commercial vendors, of course, Gigaparts, HRO, MFJ, all the radio manufacturers, sans Kenwood. I talked to Phil in Dayton. He said he was 50-50, but we're still hopeful that the Kenwood rejoins the tour. We did see them in Dayton, but we'd like to see them in other places. But Elecraft, Flex, Yaesu, ICOM, of course, they'll all be here.
Okay.
Lots of good stuff.
Yeah, always a great time. Always, a great place. The Von Braun Center is a great venue for this. And, August in Alabama, indoors and air conditioning is the best thing ever. And, it's just always a pleasure to be there. And, of course, I get usually tied up with a lot of youth activities. It used to be that I could go to Huntsville just to enjoy the Hamfest, and then as the rest of them have, I keep getting responsibilities. So we'll have a booth there for Youth on the Air as well as Amateur Radio Newsline. I'm told. So we'll have a couple of booths going there. And I know some of the young people from camp that just concluded here a couple of weeks ago will be there as well. And of course, the youth lounge is second to none at Huntsville. So we got to give Monty some credit here.
Yeah, Dr. Monty Bateman and his wife Jean, they do. I think they're in their 13th or 14th year of doing the youth lounge, and each year it just gets better and better. And of course, the Yoda you mentioned will be nearby. Right beside you, Neil, also will be the GOTA station. Flex is underwriting, sponsoring the youth lounge this year again. And, the Flex, system will be set up, via remote, but you'll be able to actually get on the air at the station adjacent to your Yoda, booth.
That's always a great time. We enjoyed watching that last year and jumping on quickly, I think, a couple of times to catch a couple of people we heard that we knew. But always a great time. And Monty and his crew put together some great soldering activities and some CW bracelets and all kinds of creative things that the young people can come do and kind of check out a little bit about ham radio. And I've always said, some of my students back in the high school days learned how to solder at the Huntsville Hamfest. So
that's wonderful.
Always a cool thing.
Yeah, the youth lounge, they have a couple of different tables set up for basically soldering lessons, call it what you will. But then other tables devoted to Arduino, and then others devoted to some other activities, robotics. The Brownstone robotics team that Dr. Bateman is heavily involved with, they'll be there demonstrating some of the robotic stuff that they do, and also they're speaking of soldering. I think this is our third year of doing it. We have an adult solder class. Two sessions actually on Sunday morning. The first one will be proctored by Kevin Hibbs, our forums chair, and his assistant. The second one by Joe Eisenberg himself. And so we will be, this is for adults. So what it's meant to do is, build a through-hole solder kit. It's pretty easy kit. It's simple, but build something that works, instill some confidence that you can go home. And if you find a kit online or in a store, you have the confidence to basically buy it and assemble it. So we're very, excited about that because it's been very, very well received.
Yeah. It's always great for the adults to get in there too. If you just never learned to solder, why, Here's your chance to do it from a couple of the experts. So, lots of cool stuff going on at the Huntsville Hamfest, and we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little more about some of the things that you can expect at the Huntsville Hamfest and when and where and all those kinds of things. And we'll come back right after this word from Tower Electronics right here on Ham Talk Live.
His 2 cents is worth $37 in change. He once ran a marathon because it was on his way to Dayton. He works FT8 by ear. He once worked North Korea on every band in 1 minute using only a microwatt. he slowed down his code speed to work a de-expedition to 200 words a minute. He is, indeed, the most interesting ham in the world.
I don't always put on my own PL259s, but when I do, I prefer them from Tower Electronics. Stay resident, my friends.
Tower Electronics has all the adapters, cables, connectors, and yes, PL259s you need at a Hamfest near you, or visit pl-259.com.
And taking a look at the Hamfest schedule for Tower Electronics, August 5th, they're in Elkhart, Indiana. August 12th, Huntington, West Virginia. And then, of course, they'll be at Huntsville, August 19th and 20th. And then August 31st, September 1st and 2nd, they'll be in Shelby, North Carolina. But you can visit them anytime, anywhere at pl-259.com.
You are listening to Ham Talk Live, the #1 podcast amongst all podcasts with the words ham, talk, and live in the title. And now, here's your host, amateur radio's own Neil Rapp.
And welcome back once again to Ham Talk Live. Be sure you check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You'll see some things about the show up there. But right now, it is time once again for the N9GSU Ham Talk Live Ham Radio Joke of the Week.
Now it's time for the Ham Talk Live Ham Radio Joke of the Week, a part of the show where Rick tells us a ham radio joke. The Ham Talk Live Ham Radio Joke of the Week is brought to you by QRM Labs. Now, here's Rick Garrett in N9GSU with today's Ham Talk Live Joke of the Week.
Because of everybody's schedule and convenience, we have started having our amateur radio club meetings via Zoom. It's just so much easier. In person, I always opened the meetings with a joke and everybody laughed. But on Zoom, when I tell a joke, nobody at all laughs. I asked my wife, why is that? She said, your jokes aren't remotely funny.
This has been the Ham Talk Live Ham Radio Joke of the Week with Rick Garrett in N9GSU. Tune in again next week for another joke from Rick.
Welcome back to Ham Talk Live. I'm with Mark Brown in 4BCD, the chairman of the Huntsville, Alabama Hamfest, and that's coming up. We haven't given the dates yet and all the information on how to find out about it yet. So, Mark, let's do that. Let's give out the dates and times and the website.
Yeah, let's start first with the website, hamfest.org. It can't be much simpler, hamfest.org. And we're 2 weeks from this weekend, August 19 and 20. That's a Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is 9 to 4:30 and Sunday is 9 to 3. So it's going to be a great show, and it's coming up quickly.
Yeah, it is, and that's the Von Braun Center right downtown, and several hotels surrounding that, and of course the Embassy Suites is attached, and some of the forums I presume will be over there at the Embassy Suites again.
Yes, Neil. We take a couple of rooms from the Embassy Suites and then two rooms there at the Von Braun Center. Very easy to get between them via the covered walkway on the second floor. But the forums, great lineup. Dr. Bateman, when he's not at the Youth Lounge, he's doing a couple of great forums. One on lightning and the other on grounding for your station. Dr. Rob Suggs, NN4NT, is going to be doing a great program. I say great because I've seen it at one of the local club meetings on how we talk to the astronauts on the moon. And when you think about all the relays that had to occur for a guy in a spacesuit on the moon to talk to the lunar module, that talked to the command module, that talked back to Earth, one of the ground stations, got relayed to Johnson Space Center, and the back and forth communications, switching that whole transmit receive chain, It's just amazing how it was accomplished. And Rob was a NASA employee at the time, is still a NASA employee, and he talks about what they're doing for the upcoming missions and how things have progressed from the days of Apollo into what we're doing today. So it's a great forum. Couple of POTA forums. POTA has grown very, very popular, and one of our locals, KO4JVB Jerry, describes a really great forum. It's a voyage of discovery. He got into the hobby barely 2 years ago, and got bitten by the POTA bug. And he talks about what he learned, what worked, what didn't work. He packed the room on Sunday last year. We're hopeful that he gets the same response this year. But then the other POTA guys, of course, will be covering different aspects of the Parks on the Air activities. Of course, the league is doing their member forum. That'll be noon on Saturday. Joe Eisenberg, sometime later in the day after the let me mention too, the Young Ham of the Year, the Bill Pasternak Amateur Radio Newsline Young Ham of the Year will be awarded on the main stage. I don't have the time in front of me, but that will be sometime in the early Saturday afternoon time frame. And then, of course, Joe will be doing his kit building class later in the day. So yeah, lots of great forums for just about every aspect of amateur radio that you can think of. AMSAT, of course, they'll be here, and they'll be doing a forum. It seems to be growing interest in satellites. So maybe it's this Starlink stuff that's got everybody's imagination piqued. Somebody's going to try to figure out how to hack a Starlink and use it for amateur radio communications. I don't know.
Yeah. So, don't say that. Somebody will do it, but
I'm sure that stuff's pretty well locked down.
Yeah, probably so. But yeah, that doesn't stop some people from trying. I know. But yeah, we'll have a good time with a lot of that. And Rob, you mentioned Rob. Rob gave me a tour of his facility out at Marshall a few years ago when we were down, and just always has cool, interesting stuff about the moon. So that'll be a great one. And again, the Young Ham of the Year award, I forget if it's 1 or 2, but yeah, in the afternoon, but we'll be there for that. And, the Von Braun Center itself has made a little bit of a change that people need to be aware of. So make sure that we know about that.
Yeah, Neil, what happened, and I've seen this in other cities. I visited my kids in Dallas, my brother up in the Pennsylvania area. Most of the civic centers and the sports arenas and whatnot have gone cashless. And likewise, the Von Braun Center this year, back in February, they announced that they are cashless. They will accept digital forms of payment like PayPal and these other applications that folks have on their smartphones, or Visa, MasterCard, major credit cards. So for parking and concessions, you need to bring either plastic or some type of a payment application on your phone. The city lots are both cheaper and still accept cash.
Okay. Good to know. And then I know you have a ton of prizes, and our friend Joe Eisenberg, K0NEB, will be buying 284,563 extra tickets to try to win stuff. But talk a little bit about your prizes for this year.
Well, on Saturday, the grand prize is the Yaesu FT710. It's one of the newer radios, and we're excited about that. And then Sunday is also the ICOM IC705, and lots of other door prizes that we just haven't had a chance to get our hand on. They're in the mail. They're coming this way, and we'll be listing those on our website when we have them in hand and when we figure out a schedule for when to draw them. But hourly door prizes, each and every hour, there are several door prizes. DX Engineering, $100 gift certificates, you name it. It's going to be quite an extensive prize list. And, one of the changes we're making this year, instead of a weak projector up on the wall of the Von Braun Center, we've purchased, some large screen TVs and stands, to mount them at some strategic points where folks can better see scrolling prize list, aka like Dayton and Orlando do.
Very cool. Yeah, that's always cool. Be able to check those prizes and see what everybody else won. So,
yeah.
Well, Mark, anything else here before we finish up? But people need to know about the
just a few little things. The YLs traditionally do a YL breakfast, but everyone is welcome. And that'll be at the Cracker Barrel on Sunday morning at 7 a.m. It's just a few miles south of the Von Braun Center. Of course, I'm just too busy to even think about going to something like that. I've mentioned the DX banquet, the youth license exams, both days. License exams start at 10 a.m. promptly. There's a curtained off area, kind of around the L shape of the outside hallway. And it's turned into a better place than where it used to be because it's quieter. And so, plenty of room for everybody to take the exam. And, they're very good about grading and getting the results back, very, very quickly. If you take an exam on Saturday, it's highly likely that you'll leave with a call sign. It's that quick sometimes. Of course, that's that's FCC dependent, but, the guys do their best to get those results uploaded to the FCC website. And sometimes the turnaround is just incredibly fast.
Yeah, that's always cool when you can walk away with it. So great stuff, Mark. Make sure everybody goes to hamfest.org and checks it out. And I will be down there along with, like I said, some of the Newsline crew and the Youth on the Air crew. So look forward to seeing you again in person in just 2 weeks.
I'm looking forward to it also, Neil. It's going to be a great show again. And, all indicators are that it's going to be, one of the best ever.
All right. Well, you heard it here. So make sure you check out the Huntsville Hamfest if you can. If you can't, check out, some of those YouTubers going around. They will bring you all kinds of video from Huntsville. So, thanks a lot, Mark, for taking the time to talk with us this afternoon, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you a bunch, Neil. 73.
And that is a wrap for this week's edition of Ham Talk Live. I'd like to thank my guest, Mark Brown, in for BCD, and everybody out there in cyberspace for listening, and invite you back next time for a list of our upcoming guests. Go to hamtalklive.com, and we'll be there at Huntsville. So say hi, and for now, this is Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG, saying 7375, and may the good DX be yours.
For 73s, to you and your family, I'll be seeing you further down the lawn. Your 73s, to you and your family, I'll be seeing you further down the lawn. It's hard